Good day to you. Good day. Today I want to discuss an important topic for every generation. This is about handing over the baton. What is it that you are handing over? What's the team you are looking at? And how do you recognize your children or your grandchildren, and how much you pioneered can you pass on? How can you not lose momentum in passing on? We know these things happen when you are passing on the baton. And what are the factors that are involved in this decision? What are the factors involved in this decision? So let me give you 7 character traits that I feel, I know, I believe that God has designed into fathers and next generations, and this two to tango, or one generation to the other, must fit on in these 7 character traits: the fatherhood abilities, the shepherding abilities we need for family, we need for corporate life, we need for industries, we need for professions, we need to run a nation. So that is the design. The first one is the speculative, imaginative, futuristic nature. We might call it this character trait 1. We might even call it seeing, the ability to see before others see it, ability to hear before others hear, ability to feel. Now, what is it that you are going to see, feel and hear? You may think it's about business opportunities, yes. It's about financial investments, yes. It's about danger that is coming, yes, or political changes that are due to come and how they will affect world trends, global trends, and so on. All that is true. But above all, ability to see and recognize your child's gifting ahead of time. The feel together with your child or with your junior. You have your team before you whom you are hoping to hand on. And in that team, who might be the impetuous one, like Peter, the impetuous. He always tries to teach the senior. He even tried to teach Jesus Christ. So I'm just taking one team that you can see from history how it functioned. Yes. Then do you have in your team a Thomas who is always doubting what you're saying? It can work well also, because you have to double check, are you on the right track? You are the senior, are suggesting a new innovation. Especially so, this talk is important, I feel, because in COVID time, we are facing a situation that we have not faced before. So every generational conjunction, what do I mean by conjunction? The conjoint, what has to function together. Every generational conjunction, the conjoint, what has to function together is stretched. Like the carriage, the engine and the carriages are linked together. COVID times have brought a real, so many businesses have crashed, families have crashed. It's a terrible time, and it's a time that man has not faced ever before, humanity has not faced ever before. And just giving an understanding, we have been, humanity has been ruining ecology, ruining politics, ruining family life, even redefining sexuality, and doing and killing the baby in the womb. But when a disease like COVID ruins your immunity and public health is in trouble, it's a real big trouble. So in a time when everything is on the stretch, you have to be careful of your links. So in your family link, how do you get it through to your children? Now your children may be at 12 years. It's an important link. I have done many clips on this, how the digital life affects it. So think of that link with your children. It may be with your grandchildren. You are a pioneer. You are maybe 60 years old. Maybe you're 65 years old and your grandchildren are 8, 10, 12. Whatever their age is, you are a pioneer. You fought many battles. The 40 and the 45-year-old generation may not know the battles the 70-year-old generation has fought. The kind of political battles, the business battles, what's working out there in the world, what is behind the scene, you still see ahead of time. And you need to pass it on. Now, when you pass on the baton in a 4 into 100 relay, you know the one who is to take on the, let's say the last lap. The best runner is on the last lap, as you know. The two best runners are first lap and last lap, okay? So say last lap, the runner is already running. You come alongside, handing over the baton, and your run stops and he keeps running. But that is because it's a 4 into 100 relay. But this is not a 4 into 100 relay. This is a lifelong relay. So how long do you think the transition may take? Get ready for a decade. Get ready for a decade. And you are still running, still gathering momentum, and you are handing over what you can to the next generational team, your own son, your own daughter, that's fine, or others whom you have incorporated into your first team. You understand? There's a first team, there's a second team, there's a third team. That's how succession works. And sometimes someone in the first team, if you have not been careful, he drops down to the second team. But give him a chance in the second team, yeah. Just because he failed at the first level, first team level, because their pressures are different, their expectations are different, their goals are different, he may still be good at the second level team, yeah. So in this baton handover, it takes much longer, it takes years. So you are still running, still developing momentum for your generation, what you begot, what you birthed, the company, the profession, the workplace, whatever. So you are still running. You got that? So the first character trait is ability to see, hear, feel before others do about the time, the space, the opportunity, and the gift, the charisma, what people carry on with. Now, charisma is a thing that you got from above, I'll have to say. It came from above, and it is the giving and the gift, and it keeps getting renewed. Otherwise, you tire on the job without this renewing if you run your own race. Then what you started with your charisma, you can destroy with your character. You have heard that. Not that we are expecting it, but you have to guard against it. So the inflow has to keep coming. Now, at one level, from senior to junior, the inflow has to keep coming. If you are working with God, you have a great asset. Inflow keeps coming. Then on earth and in economics and in many situations, there are variations, there are shifting shadows, shifting loyalties, and so on. So the real seeing prophetic nature, speculative nature, imaginative nature is found in the entrepreneur. He sees the business opportunity before others see it. Then it is also found in the researchers, in the actuaries man. Where should you be investing? So they have foresight of things to come. Is hindsight important? Yes, there's a certain examination and diagnosis of what happened. That is also important. That's another kind of sight. So you can see this nature, this character ability is very useful. Then we looked at Peter, who was always trying to teach the senior. So he had to be put in place, but he was a leader, and he had to be recovered. Then you have Thomas the doubter. And he is always one step wiser, he thinks, but they're useful in your team. And don't negate them, don't insult them. Some things they say would serve well, something may be outside. Yes, that's okay. Then you have a Nathaniel, and Nathaniel is the kind who speaks truth straight from the elbow. It's a little bitter to take it, painful, but you will see this character also. So don't let him up, don't let him up. Don't put him aside. If he's in the first level team, give him a space to tell the truth. Give him a little counsel and say, look here, when you have to tell some truth, first tell me, where you are the senior. Tell it with respect. Then I will teach you how to share that with others at the next level. So you keep, as a pioneer, you keep that chap Nathaniel who tells the truth, even if in Sinhala you say, pathagiya, tathagiya. Yeah. Truth is often bitter, but it's good medicine. That is Nathaniel. So I'm trying to give you the gift of speculation, gift of imagination. How do I define it? You see before others, you hear before others, you feel before others. Apply it for personnel management. Of course, you have an HR manager, but when it comes to real high-placed first team, first level team, the first team that runs with you, plays the game with you, you have to be very clearly and closely involved in the selection process, who comes from third level to second level, and from second level to first level. Certainly you have to be involved with it. So the Nathaniel nature, the truth-speaking nature, truth-seeing nature, yes. He might even be seeing the other side of things many times, but let it not be too many times. But it is good to have a person who sees the other side of things. If his heart is in the right place, you still work with him. Don't put him down, don't cast him out. He may be a safety belt. Then you have the person who is always consoling, who is always bringing the, what shall I say, a consoler, like John or like Barnabas. Barnabas, the Greek Barnabas, means son of consolation. He's very important in the team. We'll speak about this a little later. Now we go to the second one, teaching. Now teaching is about truth, and the nature of a teacher is also found in an engineer, because you can't build a bridge anyway somehow. So you need in your team people who are very precise, quantity surveyors, engineers, lawyers are a little like that, teachers certainly in the teaching profession. They have an inflexible nature, but that is also necessary. Teach them a little flexibility, but accept them, don't bend what they say. So don't bend the books, don't cook the books. So accountants have to be inflexible. You get that, isn't it? Cooking books is not good. So teachers, accountants, engineers, lawyers, they have a certain kind of personality. Thirdly comes the third personality, gifting, called diakonia in the Greek. It means a deacon or a helper. Now these are humble people who help along. It's good to have them in the team. They pick up all the flack and they pick up all that has to be done behind scenes. They just see it and they come alongside. Without you saying it, they have arranged it. Now that is also a kind of brilliance. And your first level team may have someone like that. Then he has no other brilliance but seeing the undone things, and he comes and slowly picks up and does the undone things, and you'll be very grateful for that. You have to remunerate that person adequately and appreciate that person publicly. The diakonia, the humble helper, that's also leadership quality, humble helper, and that person on your team. Yes. So I have given three kinds, and the fourth kind is that trainer. That's the Barnabas, the coach. He has a word of wisdom, he has a word of comfort, he's the HR guy, he looks at a situation and comes up with the best possible construction. Because the teacher will have the worst possible construction or a very accurate construction, which is necessary. But you need a Barnabas. As I told you, his name means son of consolation. In your team, he brings consolation. He brings a solution possible out of a difficult situation. So you don't have to sack someone. You don't have to stop something drastically. And then the teacher will oppose it, accountant will oppose it. That's okay, that's what they are there for. But you give a chance to the son of consolation, the Barnabas, the coach, the mentor, and there's a Greek word for that, paraklesis, come alongside person. He will say, sir, can you allow me to come alongside this project and this company director, line director, and see whether it can be worked through. Did you understand that? So that nature is also helpful. Then fifthly comes the thing where money is involved, and there are people who have money, and then we have to train them to invest that money, not play the stock market, but invest that money in a way others will get livelihoods. That's how God meant money to be. Not mammon, not to be master, but to be servant. We all have to work with money. So that quantum of money you have creates more livelihoods, it expands, and there are dividends of a different kind in the lives of people, in the careers of people, more livelihoods created. Did you understand that? So you can make money to work for humanity, which is God the shepherd would think like that. So people who have money, are obviously very useful, but money must not become their God, and in your team, you have to help them to invest wisely. They can become rash, invest unwisely, but you must tell them, wait the time, and that's how. Then, of course, there is the leader, that's you. The leader's main quality, as I told you, to know how to lead people in their space, gifting, time, opportunity. Space, gifting, time, opportunity, resources. How can we get this into a mnemonic? Opportunity, space, opportunity, time, gifting, resources. That's the leader. He is able to put these 5 together for the best advantage of the company, of course, as well as the best advantage, best potential of each individual coming up. That's what the leader thinks. You look after the best potential of every individual, then there's a blessing and a multiplied harvest on the best potential of your company, and even God may come in to help you in that. So that's the 6th one, leader. And the 7th one, you need them in the team, the mercy advocate. They will plead for mercy, and if you get on to a little bit of mercy, you might have a God blessing also on it. So in your team, look for the one who is a mercy advocate. They will say, sir, shall we give him another chance, and so on. That's also needed in modern corporate life, yes, the mercy advocate. So those are 7 character traits. Recognize that in your child also. There may be a child who's very given to mercy. Now, would to God that doctors are all mercy people. The nurses, the health field, the health profession needs mercy. You may say it is anything but mercy, but then you be a leader to develop a health field where the character trait of mercy comes up again. So we have to all work with the Good Shepherd, who always works with hope. He doesn't give up. He leaves the 99 who are doing well and goes looking for the one who is not doing so well. That character every leader must have. Never give up on the one that is missing, gone astray. Do something for that person. Also in your economy of life and time and space, keep that economy available to reform and give us second chance, because then God will also give us a second chance. And he says mercy overcomes judgment. Judgment is what that person deserved, but we need mercy advocates in this world who will model the heart of the Good Shepherd, to go after people who have gone astray. And how do we know? He may become a great leader. We know this of Peter. He went astray, or he lost it because he was on his own strength. And his master said, you will be sifted. Why do people get sifted? When there's a lot of chaff. You understand the word chaff? The useless stuff, the empty stuff. Each one of us, when a sifting time comes, we know this sifting comes to reduce the gas in us, the gaseous part, and we are left with what is truly the kernel. Those circumstances come. As leader, you take your company through, you take your institution through with all this. So I have given you a short talk on how to look at the 7 character attributes. The one who sees, hears, feels before others. You can call it a foresight. Same insight, hindsight, all 3 work together in that character trait. The teacher, the diaconia, humble helper, the trainer, Barnabas, coming alongside, immense patience. You teach them to play their strokes. You don't go and play the match. You teach them to play their strokes the best, get their strokes right. Then the money investor, then the leader, then the mercy advocate. Think about it. So in this time of COVID, when everything is under pressure, you have to think of dad, you have to think of the 12-year-old child, then you have to think of the 18-year-old, because he has to get on to his secondary, tertiary studies, with a view at 24 he'll be well employed, and he can't be shifting too many times. So at 24, hopefully 25, he's on the life track and career track that he'll pursue always. You keep shifting career tracks, which happens to people who are too much on the digital screen. They can't initiate, navigate, come to a successful end conclusion and get a reward. They start, stop and go to another thing. They start, stop. That's what the digital screen has done to them. So I have done many talks about this. This is my 150th talk on these subjects. If you want any more on the digital screen, please send me a WhatsApp number, WhatsApp message to +94 77 49 59 214, or on my timeline and YouTube channel. You will have these things. I am Dr. Lalith Mendis. Yes, so I have come to the end of my talk really. How in this COVID time, the ages, that's right. So at 12 years, at 8 years, the rights tertiary education, at 24, 25, them choosing their career, and at 33, it's crucifixion time, 33. What do I mean by crucifixion time? You have come to the successful first third of your life, first third of your work life. And then you have to do a drastic assessment whether you are satisfied or not. At 33, if you have to change, it's a big change, difficult change. So it is better to plan from 24 to 33. By 33, your 1/3 is done, you're satisfied, you're content. Your child will be about 3 years, 5 years. So now you have to think, till 33 you work very hard, but when the child becomes 5, you have to keep time enough for your child. That's it. So Dad, if you are 33 years old, Mom, you are 33 years old, now you have to think of that other parallel career of parenting. And on some days, that other parallel career becomes more important than your corporate career or professional career. This parenting career is your future prospect. You can't drop that baton. That has to go side by side. Then when you are 43, you do an assessment. If you are successful, you have done 2/3. 2/3 of your work-life productivity has come by 43, and you are now moving into your half-life, isn't it? So next 1/3 of your success would be developing others. So be fruitful, multiply, fill your portion, and then you begin to steward others. That's the 4th one. So your last third of your work life, spanning from maybe 43 to 73, is about developing others while you are still being productive in the other areas. You understand? Yes. You may even pioneer something, but with a team. Not that your pioneering has stopped. You might be the best pioneer in your setup. Don't give it up. Even at 73, you may pioneer something, but you will be drawing a lot from others. So never give up on your pioneering, spearheading role. It is given only to some. They become, they are like the last of the Mohicans, the ones who pioneer really things, see ahead of time and get it to a momentum that can be given over to another generation. So pioneers must watch over that. You can give over your momentum and your product and that field of enterprise to another generation. Think through these things when COVID has put everything on the stretch. So just one final word on the COVID thing, because I have spoken so much. As I've told you, I was head of Department of Pharmacology in a state medical faculty in Sri Lanka. Just by the way, vitamin D and zinc gives you 88% risk reduction and prevention of infection. So don't give up on your vitamin D and zinc daily, whatever else you do. Just that's an aside at the end of this talk on handing over the baton well. When COVID has put a stretch on every link between husband and wife, children and parents, and children and their studies, corporate professions, governments, everything is put on the stretch. Then you have to get ready for things that can withstand the stretch. Thank you for listening.